Hey, live for a deep work stream here on all of our channels at VeeFriends. So I'm going to be diving right in. I might talk a little bit while I ink this comic up. This one is for next Sunday. You can kind of guess in the comments what the characters might be saying. I'm not going to reveal the text, but in this comic, we got serious sperm whale, rational rattlesnake, and our friend hardworking wombat. So I'll be jamming around next 90 minutes, kind of inking this up. This is the VeeFriends Deep Work comic stream. So please share it, give a like wherever you're watching from. Please like this. And I'm just going to get right into it, guys, because I got a lot of comics to do, and we're going to talk about that right now. Also live over on TikTok. But all right. So we're going to jam through here. We got the situation in this comic. We got rational rattlesnake and serious sperm whale. And sperm whale is freaking out about something, right? So we'll get into it. Let's jam through what I'm going to be inking here. So then rational rattlesnake is saying something to him. Again, if you guys want to guess what they're talking about inside the comments, that's cool. I'm on mainly YouTube right now, so it's me, Patron. But I can see your comments anywhere. I'll look up at the comments occasionally. Anyways, the situation here: sperm whale, serious sperm whale, rational rattlesnake. He's freaking out about something. Rattlesnake's kind of calming him down. Rational rattlesnake here. You see that suddenly a hardworking wombat appears. Wombat's doing all kinds of stuff. He's having a breakfast, doing some other things there, launching a merch store. You can get merch at the VeeFriends.com. And then, for the reveal, you'll have to follow the VeeFriends channels. So what I'm going to be doing here today, and I'm probably going to get quiet after a minute. I got a lot of inking to do. So I'm just going to get into some of this inking and maybe talk through a little bit what I'm doing here. So I'm fading it out. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. Hope you saw the comic today. Let's take a look at that, today's comic, real quick. So we got today's comic was, we got the Humble Hedgehog vibing. We drew this on the last stream, so you see. But the reveal for that one was that the burglar has stolen their vibe, right? And you'll have to stay tuned to see what happens. There's going to be some more to that story coming up. This is a Sunday comic, so we're doing like a little bit bigger kind of Calvin and Hobbes style Sunday comic strip. So gotta start working on that right now. Make sure I'm on the right layer here. I did not name that layer, so I got to name this layer real quick. Inks. We're primarily going to work on this panel here during this stream, and then if we get more time, I'll jump around. So, all right, let's go. Yeah, so talk a little bit about, pretty much worked a lot this weekend. It's not a typical job, drawing comics and stuff. So there's really not, there's time off, of course, but you're kind of always on. And since I'm just kind of starting the VeeFriends comics up here, we want to get to daily as soon as possible. Some people would wait till they're like 6 or 8 weeks ahead for a daily comic strip, but we're just jumping right in. We got a lot of good ideas behind the scenes. So endless ideas with all these characters. So it's gonna be good. Okay, got over here on TikTok. I'll check in comments occasionally, but this is Procreate that I'm drawing in, just so you know. And then we're thinking about format wise for these shows. When it's a deep work stream, it's pretty much going to be me just kind of getting in here and inking things up, working on some sort of part of the deeper, you know, the deeper part of comics. The Friday show, we're thinking might be more interactive. Like maybe we'll write a comic together or something, or pick some characters to put in a strip on a Friday together. But we'll figure that out as we go. I'm not going to reveal the text. You guys can, you know, just guess what they're saying, I guess. But make sure you like and subscribe and all that. Especially if you're new to VeeFriends. Just go to VeeFriends.com. Just going to write it right in here. If you're new to VeeFriends, go to VeeFriends.com. Check it out. There's over 280 characters. Patreon, I do not animate. I animate, but not very well, man. So, yeah. All right. Also, this is the first time I'm drawing the serious sperm whale. These conversations that I'm having with like Gary and Andy and the crew at VeeFriends are kind of funny because I'm like, you know, like, what are they all the same size? VeeFriends, right? So we're doing some like developing of these characters and stuff, and there's really not been a rule to it. But I'm like, is a sperm whale the size of a rattlesnake? I don't know. But I kind of imagine that it can be both, like, you know, at times. But I like that they're different sizes. So, you know, maybe Gary B would be like this big over here. He has like a very large phone. Something's upsetting him. Something is serious and it's upsetting Sperm Whale. I think mostly today it'll be an inking stream. Sometimes the streams might be, you know, me coloring. Not really. The coloring looks pretty good on the streams, but it's not as vibrant as like the live strip that comes out on the socials, all the social channels. So make sure that you're following VeeFriends. I'm sure that many of you already are. But we had some new people come in and say like, "What is this?" Especially if you're seeing like drawing comics, and I'll look up occasionally if you have questions about drawing comics. I can maybe help you or maybe answer. But primarily, this is me getting, you know, work done. It's a lot of work, but it's the type of work that I like to do. So. Yeah, he's looking at his portfolio. Yeah, we figured that like there's going to be storylines, like, you know, like little themes that we'll revisit over and over again. So oh, it's going to be um, fun. It's a little shaky there. Let's see. Yeah, as I look at these characters, I mean, there's so many. It's so ripe for imagination. Anthony on X mentioned determined dolphin, but I'm thinking like, this is kind of a beach scene. I know it doesn't make much sense that rattlesnakes on the beach. It doesn't have to, but um, it's just fun to make these two characters interacting with each other. And I got some fun stuff. Like I'm pretty happy with. I'm doing this thing with the snakes word balloon, where it's like coiled around. That just kind of happened by accident, and I really liked it. So I'm gonna keep it. Let's go to iPad only view for. No, I don't know. My head's basically down, so let's just go to just iPad. iPad view here. I'll probably be doing this till I set for 90 minutes. See how much I can get done in 90 minutes. If I'm feeling it, there's nothing else going on, I might just keep going. So, check back in between whatever you're doing. Make sure you drop a like. Share the stream with friends. But yeah, I pretty much my weekend was, I'm not just turning off and not working on these strips. Like for now, I want to get ahead. Ideally, we want to be a week ahead or something like that. So this will be for Sundays. Strip. It's a little bit bigger. I'm just testing this part out. But we have about a whole week's worth in progress. I'll kind of jump around in a little bit. Maybe you'll get a little sneak peek of what's going on. Patron asked if I collect NFTs. I'm not opposed to it. I have a few. I don't have any VeeFriends, ironically, but when it was first starting out, the whole digital collectibles. I mean, it's kind of a some artists, friends of mine, were like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna destroy things," but I've heard all that before. I don't want to get too far in the weeds of the controversy of some artists that think like NFTs are the end of the world or something, but I just see it as digital collectibles. So that's cool. I had a skater cats. I got a couple crocodiles. Like my son and I were, and when I say my son, he's in his 20s. He's 25 or something like that now. My son and I were exploring NFTs like when it first came out. There was a lot of different projects, but we saw like it was interesting to me because to me it's not really new because webcomics were sort of the same vibe. You had these projects and you had fan bases, and it was interesting to watch these different projects come out with their roadmaps of like, here's what we're going to do and all this like big ideas with NFTs, and then a lot of them didn't follow through, which is very similar to like comics in general, or like any Kickstarters. Like people say they're going to make something and they don't, just for whatever reason. Like they get busy or didn't go as it planned. Life just kind of throws you some curveballs sometimes. Um, I know there's a lot of speculators, just like there is in like comic books or trading cards, but in the end, the real stuff that shines through in any kind of market. Listen to me diving deep on this subject here, guys. Jeez, like I'm an expert or something. But the real things that shine through are the ones that build community, right? So, so that's how it was back in the day with web comics. Like, let's talk about comic books for a second, collectibles. I remember working in a comic book store when the death of Superman happened in the 90s. And like, it was on the news, and like every person that thought they were going to just buy this comic book and retire their children or put their kids through college with the Death of Superman comic book, they would come in the store and just be like buying all of them. So the real fans of comics like hated it. They were like, "Oh, these guys are ruining it." Like they couldn't get the real comic and all this stuff. So you had the like hardcore people, comic fans, and they didn't like these like newbie speculators coming in buying up the comics. And then when the comic was flooded in the market, I'm not sure what you would call this in the NFT world, but when it was oversaturated, polybagged comics, all the little gimmicks and things, those same parents would come back in and be like, "We bought Death of Superman. It was supposed to be worth. You promised." Like, and it's just like no one promised anything. It's just a story, But it feels like that's what it feels like to me with NFTs and digital collectibles. Like, there's a lot of where am I at here? What layer am I on? Okay. Um, yeah, art, collectibles, it's all the same thing, just different now. It's hard to explain sometimes to people that don't follow digital stuff at all, We'll get there. That's the way the world's going, whether we like it or not, or whether you like it or not. I'm down with it. It makes the whole certificate of authenticity thing for collectibles very straightforward too. Like, what's it called, the provenance, or who owned what in a certain chain. That's pretty cool. I've got a lot of collectibles that I can't prove. I got an Eddie Vedder ukulele on my back wall there, and I can't really prove that he signed it because I didn't. It was just like signed by a guy I knew that worked at the one of the sound places one time. But it's for me. It's not really for the market. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, Web3 is just, even though I think it's just getting started, so much opportunity. But I'm going to keep my expertise to drawing comics, storytelling. So building the stories around these characters. Okay. We'll just do one panel at a time. Okay. So to reset, got a situation where sperm whale's really upset. Serious sperm whale's being serious. He's really upset about something. Rational rattlesnake's kind of calming him down, being rational, And then hardworking wombat makes an appearance. He points him out for a certain reason. If you're in the chat, you can guess what they're saying, I suppose. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow along for more VeeFriends comics. What do we got over here on TikTok? Not a whole lot going on over there. Sorry, I gotta look over at the TikTok comments occasionally because it's on a different screen. I gotta use a different app for that. Rocky, where am I working from? I am in my home office, which is just south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But I'll be up in New York soon. We'll jump in and out of there and do some brainstorm meetings and stuff and hang out. I get a lot of questions saying will I be at VCon or stuff like that? I mean, I imagine yes. I don't know what that looks like yet, but let's just say 80% sure I'll be there. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to talk about my my process a little bit, I think. Here. So over the weekend, I was working off of ideas from Gary, and we have a bunch of comics kind of in the works behind the scenes here. And, it's not like a normal, I mean, it's a job. It's still hard work to do, to ideate the stories, or in this case, they're short comics. So we're talking 4 panels. I don't want to call them gag comics, situational, like the stealing the vibe today. Just something that's going to make you laugh or just take a break for the day, that kind of thing. Share something that's shareable, relevant. So sometimes it's poignant. The one coming up tomorrow is very I like to think of it as like a Zen type, comic. Very like Mr. Miyagi sort of stuff. Let's see if I can pull up in the comments over on TikTok Live. I can't view my profile. Mute this. And I should be able to see some comments over there now when I glance up. So sorry, TikTok. You get the hands view though over on TikTok. You can see my hands working. Somebody else asked how long it takes me to draw a comic strip, and well, I mean, it can depend. I am tracking these, so we did notice on like the first couple of test streams I did for like the final comic time. It was taking a little bit longer because I was stopping a lot to talk and look up and read the comments and stuff. So what this does, this program that I'm in, Procreate, it tracks the time that I'm on screen. It also tracks my strokes of the app, every time I make a stroke. So it kind of has a relative, it kind of knows how long a strip took me, sort of estimate. So some strips can take, 4 hours, 5 hours, and some can take 9 hours. This one I'm not sure because it's so big. It's like a double strip pretty much. We got a double strip going on here, kind of situation. In this case, to give you a little background on this strip, no, I'm not going to give away the idea yet. You'll have to view it live. But Gary sent me an idea, like the nugget of an idea. We sent back and forth a little bit, and we kind of have like a bat phone, like Gary, and then I was like torn on which character goes with the rational rattlesnake for this strip. So I asked, which would be a good character that's getting upset about something. And I think it was Andy shot back and said like serious sperm whale. So, I think I can imagine another artist being like, what? Like, how am I going to put a sperm whale in a comic strip with a rattlesnake? And I'm just like, let's do that. Let's do it. It's going to be fun. I'll figure it out. It's the challenge for me, So. And so that's kind of a really unique way of doing live ideation together. We've got a thread going with a whole bunch of different ideas that I'm just then cataloging and then spitballing back. It's fun. It's like an organic sort of idea stream. It's fun. I can't really think of anybody else that works like that. So we're innovating over here. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm putting 5 coils on that rattlesnake. Patron was asking there which NFT I would pick if I was collecting them, which I'm not really open collecting them right now, or anything like that. But I like llamas, so I like the legit llama, and I like what I also saw with the trading cards. Like I saw somebody collecting all the gnomes. That sounds like something that I would do. Like I'd be like, I'm gonna collect all of the llama cards that I find, but right now I'm really focused on making the comics. I'm sure I'll have plenty of toys and all kinds of stuff here soon. The pencil toppers, I want to get a hold of some of those from the gang. I thought it would just make sense to have them on the tip of the pencil here. I used to have an old comic with llamas in it, so I'm prone to the llama. I also grew up in the 80s, so all those mascots like Smokey the Bear and Woodsy the Owl and all that stuff. Um, that's fun. We grew up in a good time. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, it's a fun time for kids. We had Saturday morning cartoons, like real ones, you know, real appointment TV type stuff. All right, let me see here. Let me get rid of- All right, Savi, I see you're over on TikTok. It's kind of hard for me to watch all the channels, guys. Sorry, but Friday streams will probably do a little more interactive type stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like looking through all the character stuff behind the scenes, I've been studying a lot. It's not like it's like a day off and I'm like chilling. I'm like, I got to study these characters a bit. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes and like a lot of character notes and just cool, cool stuff. So, but I'm looking at it like, wow, there's like all these like, of course, there's like a bird family and there's like, you got ocean animals, like, got literally everything. So how do those things kind of play off each other and story wise? And it's fun. Okay, cool. I might get into coloring this panel up here, actually. Either way, all of it needs done. So let's just keep moving. We're only half an hour in here. Some of it will happen in the coloring stage because I know that there's like, two-toned eye. There's going to be some variations in the characters until I really get into a rhythm, which Gary's, down with. But I'll always try to like, make a go off of reference from what I've seen. I just learned how to draw the Vibin vampire on Friday for today's strip that's out. So that was fun. Drawing app, I'm using Procreate on the iPad Pro. No real reason why I'm drawing in blue versus red. Someone else asked. Really, any kind of alternating color. I usually go with red or blue, but this one I just decided to sketch out in green. Just because, VeeFriends. Nope. Yeah, we're M. Boyley over on Twitch said, liking the timing. Let me switch this up so you guys can see the comments too, maybe. That would be good. Except for on. Let's do this. Switch up this view a little bit. You can see your comments. And one more camera switch to just iPad. Right? Okay. So fill up that comment box over there. Wherever you're at, except for TikTok. That's the mission right now. There. Yeah, so M. Boyley over on Twitch said that the timing is working out because it's his lunch break. That's kind of that's what Jeremy and I were thinking too when we were talking about it last week or the week before. Just that it's a nice timing. Whoops. Those won't be black. Those will be color changed. So don't worry too much. Oh. All right, we're gonna get rid of the chat there. I must say I was irrationally pleased when I accidentally made the little coiling word balloons for the snake. I was like, oh yeah. So I think all the snakes now are going to have word balloons that look like that. Where is the 5 on his skin, actually? You mentioned it. Go to my reference sheet real quick. Oh. Shoot. Oops. Yeah, so working on getting ahead with the strip. I think we got, I've got a whole, like maybe 20 different strip ideas in the rough stage. And then we got this week's coming all in different stages. Take a look at that in a little bit. Right. Thanks for watching. Checking in. All right. This was another good idea that I was happy about. That maybe his word balloon is like, in his water that's coming out. Just feeling pretty good about that. Okay, we're just gonna keep inking. I'm not gonna get into the coloring part. This will mainly be an inking stream now that I'm warmed up. Inking. When I say inking, that's just this stage of I approach all the art traditionally. So pencils is one layer, and then the layer above it is inks, and then the layer underneath that will be colors. Got these different layers over here. But that's the fun part, is that when you're just like jamming, suddenly like some little idea will come out of nowhere and make it even better. Like the little water word balloons and the stuff like that. Son of Santiago says he's practicing writing his comic as I watch you. So thankful for this. Hey, that's awesome. What's your comic about? Put it in the chat. What are you writing about? It's the great thing about storytelling in general. Maybe I'll go on a little riff as I'm inking here. Talk about storytelling. I got inspired over the weekend a little bit too for some other stuff, but well, VeeFriends has all these characters that can interact with each other, and they could be comic strips or comic books or animations. Like, there's so many different ways that you can do storytelling. In my case, I specialize in comic strips and comic books, but it's all storytelling. So I'm really fascinated lately about like, where do ideas come from? And if you're familiar with, so I'm gonna kind of talk about something I'm thinking about lately, storytelling wise. Lewis Carroll, who was the author of Alice in Wonderland, you probably know Alice in Wonderland, right? I didn't know this, but he had made up Alice in Wonderland basically just hanging out with a bunch of friends of the family, hanging out with the kids, just playing and stuff. Like they were on a little boat, and as he was on the boat with the kids, he was telling them like a story. One of the kids in the boat's name was Alice, right? That's where the main character's name comes from, for Alice in Wonderland. But he was basically looking around while he was on this boat, telling the kids a story live. So he's looking at everything around him in nature. And he saw like a little rabbit scurrying around that looked like he was late for something, like rabbits do, So that was the rabbit late for the tea party, right? And then there was, like, some, I guess, litter or rubbish in the foliage of the, wherever they were boating, like a little canoe or something, and, he saw a hat, a funny hat, and, some playing cards, things like that, and a cat that was in a tree just kinda, like, watching them go by. So, like, all these things he just narrated live in the story as they were going down this little, just hanging out on a little boat together, just paddling around. And so you had the Cheshire Cat, you got the Mad Hatter. He just made it up as he was looking around at what was around him. So it's very, if anybody watched the movie The Usual Suspects, spoiler alert, mute your microphone. The main bad guy at the end, it turns out that none of the stuff that he was telling was true, or the character at the end. He was making up names while he was looking around the police station room, like the name of the China plates on the wall and the name Kaiser Sose and all this stuff. So it was very inspired by that, I think. Don't know for sure, but that reminded me when I heard that story about Lewis Carroll. I was like, oh, that's totally Kaiser Sose from Usual Suspects. So you can see how, like, some stories are familiar, and but inspiration can come from all around you, right outside your door. We had a bunny this weekend, a little rabbit. He got into the foundation of our house somehow, like underneath like a crawl space. We heard this scuttling in there. We thought maybe like a mouse or a rat or something, and we were freaking out trying to get this thing out of our house. And when we finally went down and saw him, it was a rabbit. So, you know, if you're using your imagination, you're like, hey, this rabbit just decided to move into my house. It's kind of where my brain went. All right, cool. So now we got so we've inked 48 minutes, you know, inked up 1 panel, 2 panel. That doesn't really count as a panel, but let's just put a little shadow underneath them here. And subtle little things like that in your cartoon, if you're a cartoonist or know a cartoonist. But I doubt there's many cartoonists watching this right now, but even those subtle little things like drop shadows and I don't want to noodle with it too much though, because a lot of this will be done in the coloring stage. So I don't want to mess around too much. Let's get to drawing this wombat. This is the hard-working wombat. Yeah, Santiago said that ideas come from energy and vibration, and ideas come to us through electricity. It's all interesting to think about where ideas come from, and there's other theories about, you know, I don't know if any of that's true. Like, as far as like, there's an idea stream, and you can tap into it. And that's why sometimes you'll have a really good idea, and you don't act on it, and then you'll see the same idea come up and you're like, man, I just was thinking about that, but it's just that the other person chose to act on the, you know, frequency. That's not, you know, proven. It's just a theory that people have. So when you're in the imagination game, you definitely hear those stories about that stuff. You know, it's fun. Yeah, so someone mentioned earlier about going live on at noon, and we thought it's a good time. Lunchtime on the west or east coast. It's like evening time going on in the EU. Friends over in the EU, and then breakfast maybe, or after meeting, work from home stuff for people maybe on the west coast. Work along with your whatever you're working on. Gonna go radio silent for a little bit. Just trying to jam out as much as I can. So thanks for watching. I'll be here inking. a good question. There are ways to do automatic tracing of lines, but it does remove some creativity from like a quick sketch or things like that. So that the tighter you make your pencils, like here's the wombat having a breakfast, it may start to look a little generic, a little boring. So try to keep it organic. The best way to do it is to do it live. Shortcuts start to make it kind of meh, you know. Curtis, this should be live on Twitch right now, but these live streams should be on Twitch. It's or Twitch X YouTube. This is what I do when I'm taking a drink of coffee. I'm, you know, make the characters dance while I'm having some coffee here. All right, dance break's over. Let's go. It's really funny that the wombat is eating pancakes here because May from VeeFriends just talked about this trend that's going on TikTok about the make priceless pancakes or something like that. These are priceless pancakes right here. I originally had the text for this panel says that he's having a healthy breakfast, but I didn't quite necessarily know that pancakes are a healthy breakfast. So I hearty breakfast. I changed it. We'll see. You'll see when it's out. This is next. Oh, this is next Sunday's comic strip, by the way. It's a big Sunday style comic. Yeah, these will mainly be on the VeeFriends channels. I think occasionally Gary will share it, or those streams where Gary will be on in the future. I'm sure we'll do on Gary's channels too. We'll stream everywhere. But, you know, he's got a lot going on. He's a hardworking wombat. Thanks for watching, and thanks for sharing the comic today. Today's comic out on the VeeFriends socials. Go ahead and share those up. Share today's is the vibe. Don't let someone steal your vibe. Comic, so keep the vibe good this week. That's what I like about comic strips, like when it used to be old school. Like, no, not so much anymore, because people don't really like open the newspaper in the morning. But you could start your day off with some fun comics, you know, some kind of escapism, a little escape, or a little bit like don't take things too seriously today. Just keep the vibe good. There's going to be a lot of people that you're going to encounter throughout your day, maybe the week, who are just stressed out and not feeling it. So as Gary would say, you know, deploy a little empathy to what those people might be going through and share a comic with them. You know, maybe in the future we'll have enough comics here that there will be a comic for every topic. So if you see a friend dealing with stressing out like the whale is here, he's reading something on his phone, you can shoot them this comic. Okay. Boy, 90 minutes can go by pretty fast, you know? I'm just gonna keep on inking here. I got my coffee. Oh yeah, I wanted to make this into. Oh yeah, This will be something special. Tune in Sunday to see what that's gonna turn into. It's gonna be fun. I don't like this hand. All right, let's fix this. That's what happens when I'm going too fast. It wasn't bad. It was just should have been hanging out over there. It should have been maybe even a drop shadow in there. Cool. It's a little bit better. What I've been calling the VeeFriends that have these nubbins, these little claw nubbins. I can't make it look like a. I don't know if the wombat has. I don't know what this bottom of his feet look like, but I'm gonna assume that he's got those feet. But some VeeFriends have those little nubbins. Some don't. Team Nubbins. I haven't seen the bottom of the wombat's feet, so I don't know. But you know, some characters have that number 5 on the bottom of the feet. Maybe we just make that into a thing. I don't know. It's I don't know if anybody knows. I'm sure someone knows. If you know if there's a 5 on the bottom of this foot, I don't think there is. But you know, we can always change it up later on. So my thought here with this one was that he's making like sounds as he's doing his wombat, hardworking wombat stuff. So in this one, he's like nom nom. And this one, he's being thoughtful. He's writing something, so he's like more like hmm. And then he's meditating here, so he's got the And then up here, he was doing like do 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 because he's a doer. So do 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 do. Do do. All right, cool. That classic cartoon mouth. Why not? Let's just put it there. Yeah, appreciate you guys digging the comics and sharing them and supporting them. So, like, we'll have some upcoming things. Nothing's set in stone right now, but some of the ideas are, we'll have some more interactive type shows. And it'll be fun to kind of have some fun with comics together. That was one of my favorite things when I was a kid. You know, was getting together with friends and sitting around and making comics together. So I'm lucky to be able to do that as a 40-year-old something, almost 48. But some of my favorite memories were hanging out with my friends, reading comics, doing trading cards. Did a lot of baseball cards. Archies. Yeah. So many good memories. A lot of nostalgia of going and I remember when Garbage Pail Kids first came out, gathering up a bunch of money and going down to the corner store and buying packs of cards. I think we bought all the cards somehow. We gathered enough money up, my friends and I, to buy all the Garbage Pail Kid cards that the convenience store had a little tiny store. It was hilarious, the Garbage Pail Kids, because you'd be looking for that name, find your name. Brilliant. Very funny. Toys don't feel the same now as they did when I was a kid. Of course, you have all kinds of stuff now, video games and such, but I kind of get that feeling when I'm watching like the um, the card collect streams. Adam, just sit there and I'm like, oh man, that's the feeling. And you'd open up those cards and not know what you were going to get. It kind of replicates that feeling. It's addicting. It's fun. Little escape. Perfect timing on that stream too, when it's like 5:55 when they do those, because it's like, might be the end of your day or the afternoon for you. Maybe late at night over in the EU if we have people from the EU. I got a lot of EU friends. Shout out to my EU friends. I got some friends in Japan. They're okay. After that earthquake that they had there, that's pretty terrible. But yeah, what a wonderful thing that the internet can be, that we're all connected and use it for good somehow. Support each other. What's the wombat writing here? Let's turn this upside down and got a little journal going there. I'll probably hide some Easter eggs in here too, like maybe he's drawing a character there. You can let me know what character you'd like to maybe have there. I'll go back and maybe add it. Maybe I'll add it. Let's see. Rock and Bull said those choose your own adventure game books. Those were fun. Nostalgia, man, you know? I was thinking about that a lot too. I think about a lot of things when I'm drawing, but like, you don't know that it's the good times when you're going through them, you know what I mean? Like, so like these days are the new good old days. We don't even know it yet. Isn't that cool? I don't know. That's my alarm telling me that 90 minutes is up. So I'm going to keep inking here for a little bit, if that's okay. Nobody's kicking me off this stream. So I got this work to do. You know, this is a job. Got to be a hard-working wombat here and get some strips done. This was a lot. This one's a double strip. So reset this a little bit while I'm doing this for a little bit longer. Take another look. As soon as I'm done with this little meditating foot position. All right. Yeah, so we got 2 featured characters are Rational Rattlesnake and Serious Sperm Whale. This will be a Sunday comic, so it's going to be fairly big. Serious Sperm Whale is freaking out about something. Can't believe it. Don't know what it is yet. But we know what it is, but you don't yet. Rattlesnake's kind of calming him down. And then, you know, Rattlesnake's calming him down. And then the wombat appears. A hardworking wombat. Yeah. And then from there, we see Wombat doing a bunch of stuff. Because he's a hustler. He's doing it. But he's also taking care of himself. He's having a hearty breakfast. He's doing some journaling. He's meditating. And he's launching merch sites or e-commerce stores. So I thought it'd be funny to put the Wombats, hardworking Wombats comfort t-shirt. And he's actually saying, I'll show you what he's saying here if you want. So comfy. Consider this an ad for the t-shirts. Comfort collection on sale now, always. All 280 plus characters available now. All right, cool. This is looking good. Feeling pretty good about this one. I feel good about all of them, to be honest, but you know, this one in particular, I'm enjoying. I lost my. Okay, there we go. I like to draw the little nubbin claws first, if I can, just because like they're the things that kind of stick out prominently on that hand or paw or whatever. Oh, AI choose your own adventure. That's interesting. That's interesting. Saw my friends doing some like role-playing games with AI. like dungeon master stuff. That's interesting. I'd say AI is so interesting, you know? I only thought about it because people ask me, especially as an artist, they're like, "Are you worried about AR or AI?" Not AR. AR is cool. Are you worried about AI taking your job or opportunities for artists? And I'm like, it probably is going to take some, but I also feel like it's a great opportunity in a lot of ways if you use it properly. And we've got a lot of figuring that out to do. But one thing I don't think that AI can do is what I'm doing right now. Um, it won't be able to interact with you live like a real human being. Tell you like from a human perspective. I saw a commenter, I don't want to get too heavy, but commenter on TikTok there said that he's going through chemo right now, chemotherapy, and he's chilling out watching the stream while he's getting chemo. That's AI can't feel that when someone says that to you, but I feel that. Like that's I'm like, wow, that's number one, I hope you're okay, and number two, I think we've all been touched by that topic in some way, and AI can't do that, so I'm not worried about it. Can AI draw faster than me? Maybe. Yeah, it can. Sometimes it's really wonky, so I'm not worried about it. We have better ideas. I actually did experiment a bit with, because I'm messing around with it a little bit for myself, and it's an interesting topic to kind of kick off ideas or something like that. I haven't used it for this yet, but like, just hey, give us some scenarios for things, or suggest different endings to this panel or something. That could be interesting. That could be an interesting tool for writers and artists. I don't think you should fear it. It'd be like fearing a mechanical pencil. Interesting topic for artists. Okay, so in this panel, he is going to have his hardworking wombat artwork on his shirt. I just put that there as an example. I'll probably go find the real art that we have somewhere to shrink it down on his shirt. But for now, I want to make sure that, the inks are him kind of like pulling the shirt out a little bit. It'll be like a green shirt probably. I'm just gonna get rid of that. This is just for reference. He's gonna be wearing his own shirt. If you've purchased any Comfort Collection shirts, let me know which ones you got. What ones you plan on buying? Which ones do you plan on getting? I want to get some more. You don't really see my shirt much in the streams, but I thought it might be fun to like wear a different shirt in the streams. Mm. Okay. When Bulldog Love? I'm sure we'll draw the Bulldog at some point. Got so many days. What do you like best about the Bulldog character? I was just talking to my friend and talking about merch, and I'm like, I feel weird when a band wears its own merch. If you're a band, would you wear your own merch? Probably. I don't know. What's the other? How do you feel about that? So this has been mainly an inking stream. You know, I'll have future streams probably where I'm doing some deep work and not talking as much. And it'll just be kind of like jumping in wherever I'm at in the process, because I've got a lot of comics in process, different stages. Some are inked, some are penciled, some need coloring. So depending on what the schedule is and where we're at, that's what I'll be working on during the deep work streams. And then we're cooking up an idea. It's still kind of in the works here, but that maybe like the Friday stream will be more of like a comic show. We'll review some of the comics that have come out. Maybe like work on a comic live together. If you're down to do that, just stay tuned to the VeeFriends socials, and I'm sure the team will let you know when that's going down. I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, to me, it just kind of feels like hanging out with friends and making comics. I can't think of a better thing to be doing. I'm just super grateful. Super awesome. I'm gonna draw comics till I can't draw anymore. I'll draw comics until someone takes my pencil away. Let's say that. I'll say it like that. Whether it's the, time itself. I don't want to say that comics are the greatest communication medium on the planet, but they are the greatest communication form on the planet. You can get so many ideas across in just a few simple panels, things that are memorable. This strip has the sperm whale, serious sperm whale, freaking out about something. You'll have to tune in on Sunday. This is when this one should land. And I'm gonna call this one a stream. We're trying to keep these streams around 90 minutes for right now. I could keep going. I could do it for like 6 hours, but we're testing some things out, seeing what's the best time, and really that's the job. So making the actual comics. So I'm gonna call this one a stream, I think. Dive into some more, dive into some other stuff here. Got a lot of other work to do behind the scenes, but make sure you're sharing the comics, and I can't wait for you to see tomorrow's comic. It's particularly good, and the rest of the comics this week. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing the comics. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that stuff, whatever channels you're on. And I will see you. We're gonna come back here, and I'm gonna do this again on Wednesday. So Wednesday, 12:05, at least for 90 minutes. I'll be here, hard working. I'll be a hard working wombat on these comics. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.